네. We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết khiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên nhiều pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như á liêu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đạo lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Namo Sananto Suchedo Ye Alahudi San Miao Samputo Che. Namo Đắc Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Đế Tham Diệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. Did I do English or not? Too bad. Sorry. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jian an zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, all venerable, loveful people, and all good advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨，净量大士，师父上人，各位出家人，各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Quốc sư, Hòa thượng Thiên Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, thank you all for coming. Today is the 21st of November 2021. We are gathered here to continue discussing the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, on slide 49. It's about, in the very beginning of it, we're discussing the general concepts here. Among which why the sutra was spoken. So it's 49, a clarification of the particular time. 8 suffering continue. Oh, this is a typo. This should be removed right here. Okay. Did we finish discussing 48? We done, right? Are we done with the 8 sufferings? Okay, I assume so. Okay. 50. Text. The Buddha was at the Bodhi field of Aranya Dharma upon initially realizing proper enlightenment.
阿兰若法菩提场中始成正觉。
All right, 51. Aranya. Aranya is translated as still and pure place. Okay, this is a place where you are. You have no neighbors, no utilities, no noise, no chaos. Don't have to pay rent. Okay, so this refers to a place, pure place, away from the noise and from civilization. Okay, and this is how the Buddha became the Buddha, by meditating at such a place. And this is why in Hinayana they insist on going to the wilderness and going away from civilization to meditate and hopefully become enlightened. But such is different. Okay, and in particular, for this to be Aranya, it's not necessarily a physical location. But it's a place where you are in such a state where no false thoughts arises. Okay, and that then wherever you are, that place is Aranya. Okay, so you see, in Buddhism, it's not that strict. It's not that rigid. In a sense, it's about the environment where the place where you practice. Okay, for the Buddha back then, that's what he chose to do, and the Hinayana people chose to do that as well. However, for us in Mahayana practices from the Chinese, we prefer. We don't mind going to marketplaces. You go to places where there's chaos, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people. And so it's a different form of practice where it's more difficult. However, it is still possible. All right? So at this place where the Buddha became enlightened, okay, attained enlightenment. So when you speak of enlightenment, there are three types of enlightenment: inherent enlightenment, initial enlightenment, and ultimate enlightenment. Okay, this is an important Buddhist concept. Inherent enlightenment, meaning that inherently you are enlightened. We are all enlightened. Okay? And we are part of this big organism that is enlightened. Okay, it's just that we don't know how to use our enlightenment. That's all. So therein lies the Buddhist process of cultivation. Buddhist cultivation is look inside ourselves, okay? And because we know that fundamentally our makeup is enlightenment. Our DNA is enlightenment. So all we have to do for Buddhist practices is that we don't need any help. Well, we don't need to ask for God to help. I don't need to ask for any external help. Enlightenment is inherently in us already. And that's why all we have to do, the essence of Buddhist practices, is to look into the nature of our confusion and get rid of it. And what is left is this initial enlightenment. So far, so good. This is a very important concept in Buddhism. You are enlightened, whether you're Buddhist or not. Okay? Fundamentally, you have your makeup is a makeup. Your DNA is the DNA of enlightened people. Okay? And therefore, the Buddhist practice, which is much more ingenious than the other non-Buddhist practices, involves helping you reach this thing called initial enlightenment. Okay? Because this is a very important distinction. Enlightenment Buddhism is a state of being. It's not a concept. It's not wishful thinking. Okay? And because inherently you are enlightened already, we, the Buddhists, have these specialized procedures, specialized practices that the Chinese call cultivation and so forth. Okay? It will bring you to the state where you will experience this initial enlightenment. Okay? So that you wake up. Okay? This is very important. The difference between initial enlightenment versus before that is that until you reach initial enlightenment, it's practically impossible to teach you. You will not be able to understand, no matter how smart you are, how ingenious you are, how high of an IQ you have. Okay? It's not possible for you to understand at all. So that's why I run into a lot of people, especially now we have a lot more of you coming from different backgrounds and different interests and different persuasions. And so many of you are coming to me and ask and trying to understand. And again, I stress that understanding of yours is very limited. Okay? Where we're seeking is wisdom. Enlightenment is a state of wisdom. It's not intelligence. It's not smarts. It's wisdom. Wisdom is the foundation of your smarts, of your intelligence, believe it or not. Okay? And that's why this, for many smart people, many intellectual people, that intellect, that smarts, is actually an impediment to their unfolding of their inherent wisdom. Okay? And it's a double whammy for these people because number one, they're stopping themselves. Okay? Because number two, they're so full of themselves that why should we bother helping them at all? Because we help them, they're going to become even more arrogant. Okay? The Buddhist practice, by the way, I don't know about the other places. The way I train you, the way we train you is directly aimed at making you more humble, less full of yourself. If you wish to undergo that type of training, no one is forcing that on you. Okay? It's your personal preference, personal choice. Okay? And this path here, this way here, is a way of walking this journey where as you progress further or higher, you become more and more humble. The ego is less and less predominant, if you will. Okay? It applies to all of us. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about this is a way of life. Okay? Where it's your ego that prevents you from reaching this initial enlightenment. Okay? And after you reach this initial enlightenment experienced by the fourth stage arhats and the bodhisattvas, okay, these are the special beings that are a lot more pliable than the lower level people, and therefore they're much easier to teach. They can at a certain level, they can begin to be taught the sudden teaching. Okay, and so when you reach these levels, that's when you are able to recognize your ego and to do away with it and not fall prey to your ego anymore. Okay? But that's only the starting point. And beyond that, and beyond the initial enlightenment, the real work then begins. Okay? The secrets of the spiritual practices will be unfolded for you, for these people, these enlightened people, so that eventually they reach ultimate enlightenment of the Buddhas. Okay, and those are the rough stages of the practices in Buddhism. Questions or comments? All right. Furthermore, on slide 53, when you talk about enlightenment, they also can be classified as into three types: self-enlightenment, enlightenment of others, and perfection of enlightenment. Okay. Mm-hmm. Enlightenment here, self-enlightenment here is the process of getting rid of your confusion. Okay? Remember, this enlightenment here, self-enlightenment here, doesn't come from outside. It comes from inside. Your enlightenment, this enlightenment process, in particular, the fourth stage Arhat, are the ones who are able to destroy the shackles that the ego puts upon us. Okay, it's your ego that is in control, and so you're able to get rid of that self-imposed shackles. Okay, that means that you're able to destroy the ego. Before that, in this process of cultivation, as you progress, as you get higher and higher, the ego is less and less predominant. So that's why we insist, we keep on stressing on the importance of making progress. Okay? Unless you make progress, you have to be cognizant of the need to continue to make progress. Because if you don't, the ego simply finds other ways, more ingenious ways to assert itself. That's all. And that's why we need to continually make progress. All right? And as you continue to make progress by improving, okay, remember, it's very simple. You improve, your ego has less control over you. You are less confused, okay? And the next level, you're even less confused, and so forth, so forth. So that's part of the fun of cultivation, you will, part of the wonders of cultivation, you will. Okay, the wonders of self-discovery. Who you really are, what you really are capable of. Okay? When you're not confused. Okay? And so you reach your first stage here of self-enlightenment, or you can call it small enlightenment, if you will. Okay? And then you continue to the next level, because this small enlightenment here is just the starting point. Albeit very important, but it's just a starting point. Okay? And then you do a lot more hard work. You're able to reach the next level where you reach the big enlightenment, the great, the bigger enlightenment, okay, of the bodhisattvas. The first level of self-enlightenment refers to the small enlightenment of the Arhats or the Pratyeka Buddhas. Okay, this self-enlightenment here actually very difficult because it's the nature of our existence, because we're so confused that lifetime after lifetime, we plan the causes to continue to revolve in this wheel reincarnation to the point where we've been doing this for so long, we forgot. We're so adept at staying this wheel reincarnation. Okay? And that's why it's very difficult to get out of it. And the best bet especially for people in our era, Dharma ending era, is to go to the Pure Land. Okay? This is a lot easier than trying to reach self-enlightenment. Okay, in our world, Saha world, self-enlightenment here of the Arhats or the Pratyeka Buddhas requires a lot of work, a lot of hard work. It's very, very difficult to achieve, typically. Okay, so that's why in the Chinese Buddhism, they revere these fourth-stage Arhats and the Pratyeka Buddhas because it's true, they realize is how difficult it is to reach that level. Okay, but however, in the Mahayana circles, we really are not impressed with the fourth-stage Arhat or Pratyeka Buddhas because we see their limitations. Okay, we see their inherent dangers in getting stuck when you reach the state of self-enlightenment of the sound hearers. Sound hearers refers to these Buddhist practitioners who listen to the preaching of the Buddhas, the sound of the Buddha's preaching, sermons, and they become enlightened. Okay, they reach fourth-stage Arhats or Pratyeka Buddhas. Okay. Whereas for us in Mahayana, we shoot for the next level of enlightenment of others. Enlightenment of others involves first of all becoming enlightened yourself, big enlightenment yourself, and then for the sake of learning how to help others become enlightened. Okay, so in other words, when you reach the stage number 2, the type of a second enlightenment or enlightenment of the second big type of enlightenment, big enlightenment of yourself, that involve many levels as well. Okay, primarily there's some hierarchy of enlightened people where at different levels they'll be able to develop skills how to help others. Okay, so for example, in the future, as a request of someone on the internet that says, well, will you discuss the 10 grounds chapter? Absolutely, we'll discuss the 10 grounds chapter. 10 grounds are grounds number 1 to number 10. Ground number 1 being the lowest level of this big enlightenment here. Okay, and that lowest level there, you get there, then what you do is you be trained on how to help a certain group of heavenly beings. Okay, they're called the beings of the four heavenly kings. So you're able to you have the skills. You develop the skills to be able to help those beings in the first desire heaven. Okay, that's the range. That's your range. Okay, and then you move to the second ground, Bodhisattva, which is a high level. Then you learn to help the beings on the gods and goddesses who are residents of the heaven of a 33, the second desire heaven. You see? So each level has a certain range of capabilities, if you will. Okay? And that's why the second type of enlightenment refers to at each level there, you're able to develop skills to help certain types of living beings. Any questions? All right? And finally, on the last level is that you reach the perfect enlightenment of the Buddhas who can cross over any living being. All right? All right. Next, on slide 54, after he became a Buddha, Buddha spoke this sutra, Flower Adornment Sutra, in 21 days. Okay, so in the text there, it says, upon initially realizing proper enlightenment, it's the fulfillment of the time requirement of sutras. Okay, go ahead, go first.
Master, so I observed that some people at work or some of my friends, I observed that they seem to be functioning in a state of more wisdom than others. But I also feel that they are not aware of that. So they seem to think that they are just like everyone else. But I see that the way they handle things, they do things, and they speak in certain circumstances seems to have a level of wisdom in them. So is this a real thing, or am I just confused? I'm not seeing that correctly.
Not at all. People function and operate at different levels of wisdom, if you will. However, the wisdom there, the word we use, wisdom here, could be misleading. And wisdom in Buddhism refers to practical wisdom. That's what interests us. Okay, the wisdom of enlightened people. That's what we try to develop. The wisdom in you. Okay, but the wisdom of people that you talk about, and worldly people, could be experience, could be worldly wisdom, but they're not necessarily transcendental wisdom, if you will. Okay, what's the difference? The non-Buddhist spiritual practices, they call themselves transcendental meditation or whatever, because they look at the results of their practices are being able to transcend your current condition, your current level. Okay, you go from first dhyana, second dhyana, fourth dhyana to fifth samadhi, and so forth, until they call it transcendental. But actually, to us, that's still confusion. That's why we don't take them. We don't put much value to them. Okay, not much, nothing to write home about. Okay, what we're interested is this practical wisdom, where you will discover your true self. Okay, and yes, of course, people, everyone is different. Some people have more operate at more worldly wisdom than others. That's normal. It's not your imagination. Okay, going back to 54. Buddha here refers to fulfills the requirements of a host, a country of Magadha, and the Bodhi field of Aranya Dharma fulfills the place requirements. So these are how the scholars, Buddhist scholars, look at the requirements of a Buddhist sutra, if you will. 55. Yes, 2.
Thank you, Master. Is a Bodhi field like a field of Bodhi trees, or is it something else?
Bodhi field, what are we talking about? Bodhi field. Okay. Bodhi field here is the English translation of Bodhi Chang. Okay? Bodhi Chang here is the field. This is the place where the Buddha planted the seeds of enlightenment. Okay? Bodhi Chang is Chinese for Bodhi field. Okay? The place where you plant the Bodhi seeds. Okay? So it refers to this particular Bodhi tree that the Buddha was meditating under before he became enlightened. He became a Buddha. He sat in the Bodhi tree and made a vow. He said, I will not get up until I become enlightened. So that's called a Bodhi tree right there. And after he became enlightened, he continued. He became a Buddha. He then started doing the work of a Buddha. So he contemplated. He says, what do I do next? He says, I need to speak the Flower Adornment Sutra. And so he sat there and spoke the sutra for 21 days. And that's why that particular tree there is called the Bodhi field. Okay? And that's a place where he planted the seeds of the Bodhi seeds, the seeds of enlightenment to the Bodhisattvas. The Bodhisattvas who came to listen to this Flower Adornment Sutra were at different levels. Okay? As they listened, these Bodhi seeds, the seeds of Bodhi are being planted in them. Okay? So that's why this is that place, the Bodhi tree, is called the Bodhi field. So it's a physical place. Yes. $55, number 4. Specific revelations, the adornments of the place. A, adornments of the ground. Okay. 56, the ground was solid and was firm and solid, was made up of Vajra.
其地坚固，金刚所成。
Okay. 57. Commentary. When Shakyamuni Buddha realized proper enlightenment, okay, proper enlightenment here is, as the name implies, proper enlightenment here refers to the enlightenment that is proper. Okay? Which enlightenment is proper? The enlightenment that enables the Buddha to see the causes and effects in every single phenomena in the universe. There's nothing that he does not understand, or nothing he observed, he cannot understand the real cause for that. That's incredible wisdom. Okay? For example, people keep on asking me, okay? They say, Master, I have this dream and so. What does the dream mean? I say, I don't know. If you were to ask the Buddha, he said, of course, there's a reason for that dream. You see? And that's the difference in wisdom. The Buddha has proper enlightenment, meaning that there's nothing he does not understand why. Why so? That's incredible wisdom. Anything at all. You ask him, he says, it's because. That's Buddhist wisdom. Okay? Buddhist wisdom, we don't pride ourselves on how to make more money, how to become more famous, and so forth. Buddhist wisdom is about to understand the relationships, cause and effect. Huh? All right, so that's when the Buddha realized proper enlightenment. So he's the only one who really reached this level called proper enlightenment. Before that, we are enlightenment, big enlightenment, but it's not proper enlightenment yet. So far, so good? Okay, and so there are lots of things we still don't understand. Beneath the Bodhi tree in Magadha, the ground became extremely solid. Okay? Solid, meaning that it did the ground actually change? Not at all. Okay? The ground still appears to be the same to us, unenlightened people. But to enlightened people, they saw that the ground actually became solid, extremely solid, and is made of Vajra, no ordinary soil. So for unenlightened people like Arhats and or Pratyeka Buddha, they saw just a small, an Indian person with dark skin sitting under a tree and meditating. That's all they see. Okay, no change at all. However, after the Buddha became enlightened, to the Bodhisattva, they can see that the ground is no longer ordinary ground, but actually this ground is extremely solid. It's made of Vajra. Okay? Okay, and Vajra here is the hardest substance. So you see, when you become a Buddha, okay, everything around you, okay, changes. Okay, and to the enlightened people, they can see manifestation, this ground. Before, it's just ground, it's dirt. Now the ground actually has become Vajra. It's a miracle, you will, that only Bodhisattvas see it, and we can't see it. So far, so good? 58. Why Vajra? Vajra has 3 functions, okay? Firmness, brilliance, and sharpness. Firmness here represents the solidity of our resolve. Okay, this resolve of the Buddha to save all living beings is indestructible. Okay, he says, until the end of time, I will save all living beings. If it takes all, until the end of time, I will do so. Okay, number 2, Vajra's function, second function is brilliance. Okay, brilliance here represents the light of wisdom. Okay, when you have wisdoms, then you emit light that will dispel the darkness in the world. Where is this darkness in the world? The darkness in the world doesn't refer to the mezzanine level of our Buddha Hall, okay, or the front of Wei Mountain Temple, which is totally dark. Okay, this darkness here refers to the darkness in living beings' minds. Okay, that prevents them from seeing clearly. And that's why the Vajra here emits the light that will help the light of wisdom, will help living beings see clearer, will illuminate the darkness in living beings' minds. Number 3, sharpness. Sharpness here represents relentless vigor. Okay, Vajra is created, is mined, if you will, via vigor, like Bitcoin. Yes, 4.
From Jason K. Are the Buddha's relics also indestructible since the Buddha's body is Vajra?
Not ours. Supposedly, the relics of the Buddha are indestructible. Yes, but the manifestation are not always indestructible. Okay, so that's why it's a little bit confusing when you read about in the scripture. It says the Buddha left indestructible shariras. Okay, so that they be objects of worships and will be able to generate faith in the followers. But a lot of shariras, there are all the kinds of shariras that can be destroyed. Okay, but it's from the Buddha as well. Okay, why is that? Why are there distinctions? Because we don't deserve to see the indestructible shariras yet. For us, we only get to see the destructible shariras. How is that? Don't think so highly of, so you don't feel so full of yourself. Okay? When you deserve it, you see the indestructible shariras. And you don't deserve it, this is all you get. Okay? Any other complaints? Okay, so this Vajra here has been mined. It's mined by our relentless vigor. So today, for example, I'm very pleased to hear that a few people got together, and this is the first long day of our winter Chanqi, 10-week winter Chanqi. Today, we have a group of people who went for long sits, okay? That is one form of vigor practice, okay? He went for like 5-6 hours, something like that. Huh? That's pretty impressive. It's very good. 5 hours is one of the milestones, okay? When Master YongHua was teaching his disciples, he had this rule. He says, so everyone worked, except for those who can sit in full lotus for 5 hours. They don't have to work. They can sit all day. Okay? And it shows that at the time, his disciples couldn't sit at all. Now you guys, we don't dare give you that kind of exception, because then no one will work at the temple. We all starve to death. And the temple needs to be dusted and is dirty already. And how are we going to keep things tidy, neat and tidy? So it's no big deal nowadays in our temples, but at Master YongHua's times, 5 hours is a very major milestone for them. See that? It's funny. He taught his disciples to go for long sits, because he said Chinese Chan wisdom is you go for long sits, and turns out his disciples don't go for long sits at all. Okay, whereas now you guys can sit for such a long time. Okay, some people even sit for over a day or something, and that's pretty remarkable. But still as crazy as before. Okay, but that's vigor. The Chan practice here, the Chanqi here, is about we're learning about vigor, practicing with vigor. Okay, any questions or comments? All right, moving on. So question I made is, well, how did the ground become Vajra? I answered you already. Okay, it became Vajra to the enlightened people, but to us unenlightened people, it's still the same as before. Okay, you can still plant trees, plant tomatoes, and so forth. Grass still grows, but for enlightened people, the ground changed. Okay, so that's why that Bodhi tree there became sagely grounds. Meaning that for ordinary people, they still see no change. It's a Bodhi tree growing and so forth. But for the enlightened people, they all go there and they bow because it's sagely ground. Okay. 60. Adorned with sublimely wonderful precious wheels, multitudes of jeweled flowers and immaculate many gems.
上妙宝轮，极重宝华，清净摩尼，以为严饰。
Okay. 61. Not only did the ground at the Bodhi field become Vajra, it was also adorned with wheels, flowers, and jewels. When you talk about jewels in Buddhism, there's something called 7 jewels. There's 7 gems. There are gold, silver, Vaidurya, or liuli, or crystal, coral, ruby, and mani. Okay, so those are considered jewels in Buddhism. And so the grounds was made of Vajra and is adorned with all kinds of 7 jewels and precious wheels. This is something I don't get. What is so adorned about wheels? Huh? This is someone helps me out, please. Huh? Why wheels? Why would you adorn wheels? I mean, yes, too.
Thank you, Master. There's a famous NBA player, Latrell Sprewell, who created a specific kind of wheel in the late 90s, and it would be installed on your car so that when your car stopped, the wheel would continue to spin, and they were called Sprewells. They were very adorned. That's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, okay. But why would you use those? You wouldn't want to use those to adorn the Bodhi field. It's interesting to me why these adornments include wheels. Huh? And it's too bad that no one ever asked Master YongHua that. I'm sure he has the answer. Yes, 4.
Is it referring to the Dharma wheel?
Yeah, the Dharma wheels and so forth. Why? But why wheel? Q&A. What?
Vietnamese, they call chuyển pháp luân that a Dharma wheel.
Yeah, you turn a Dharma wheel. Yeah, but actually, it is precious wheels. They're actually wheels made up of the 7 gems. Okay, and that's part of the adornment in the Pure Land. Yeah, you go to the Pure Land, you have trees. You have layers of trees. You have layers of railings and so forth. Okay, so that's part of the adornment of the Pure Land. But here in the Bodhi field, they somehow in our world, the precious wheels are are there for a reason, which I don't get. Yes, go ahead, 4.
제가 예전에 아는 지식으로는 대승은 커다란 수레에 비유를 해서 그 커다란 수레에 많은 그 중생들을 태우고 다 같이 정토로 간다 이렇게 해가지고 많은 중생을 태워야 되기 때문에 바퀴를 장엄하지 않았을까라고 생각을 해봤습니다.
Master, I read from somewhere that in Mahayana, we think that big vehicle is important because we could carry as many as people in this vehicle and take them to the Pure Land. Maybe that's why they use the wheels as to adorn the place.
Okay, so you have these wheels to adorn place. I prefer to see mountains and valleys and oceans. To me, it's much more picturesque than wheels. I don't know. Maybe we have different decorators, interior decorators. But to me, I don't get why wheels are so prized. Okay, I fail to understand. I'm admitting my ignorance. I cannot make the connection of why adorning the way the body field with precious wheels. I don't get it. Okay, or this is to tell you that if any of you decides to make a wheel made of gem and jewels and give it to us at Wei Mountain Temple, don't expect like a big reception. We won't be impressed. Because of ignorance, not of ingratitude. Okay, it's just ignorance. So what's the big deal? Okay, but they adorn with precious wheels, and then multitude of jewel flowers. The flowers here refers to in the long Avatamsaka Sutra. It says that when you're born to the Western Bliss Pure Land, okay, you will be transformationally born within the 7 jeweled flower. Okay, so that's why that's sort of like your house, if you will. Okay, your personal pot or whatever. Okay, so I can see jewel flowers. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and also immaculate many gems, which has many has 3 meanings: precious pearl. Okay, it's a pearl, precious pearl, separation from defilement, and as you wish. Okay, so all these adornments are exquisite, if you will. 62. An ocean of various colors and forms appeared in boundless manifestations.
诸色像海，无边显现。
63. An ocean of various colors and forms. Okay, they're not just wheels and flowers and precious jewels, but also all forms of colors. Okay, all forms of shapes. Okay, are used to adorn that body field as well. So that field there to the bodhisattvas became so adorned with so many manifestations of either jewel flowers, of wheels, or jewels, but also an ocean. Okay, in endless variations of colors and forms. Okay, endless decorations, you will. Okay, that's why the bodhisattvas are so impressed. They say, "Wow, this is a lot of merit and virtues here." 64. Banners made of many gems constantly pour forth bright light and wondrous sounds.
摩尼为床，常放光明，横出妙音。
65. Now describing not only these things, but also the banners made of, encrusted with many gems that flutter in the wind and they pour forth, forth bright light and wondrous sounds. Okay, the banners here refers to triangular shaped things, and they flutter in the wind, and that's why they make these wondrous sounds. All right, that's what the bodhisattvas could see. 66. Jewel nets and exquisitely fragrant flowers were garlanded all about.
众宝罗网，妙香华音，周杂垂布。
67. The jewel nets, and exquisitely fragrant flowers. So the nets here are, strung all about, in space, and they're woven with the precious stones, and their flowers were put together in garlands with fragrance, exquisitely fragrant, at all over the Bodhimanda, so not only it's a visual feast, but also fragrant. The fragrance is out of this world. Okay. 68. Regal money gems wrought transformations with ease, endlessly raining down treasures and multitudes of wondrous flowers which scattered and fell to the earth.
摩尼宝王变现自在，语无尽宝，极众妙华，分散于地。
Okay, money jewels are considered the king of jewels, and these king of jewels have different types of transformations, have different shapes, different forms, different types of configurations at will, and endlessly rounding down. The flowers are being rained down, and not only flowers, also all kinds of precious things everywhere. All right? So it's incredibly adorned. 70. Jewel trees were lined up neatly, their branches and foliage verdant and luxuriant.
宝树行列，枝叶光茂。
Okay, now there were trees, but the trees were made up of jewels, They lined up neatly. These trees here are very neatly lined up. They're not chaotic at all. There's no chaos in these adornments, and not haphazard, but actually is orderly. It's geometric. And the branches and foliage, are green in color and thick and very healthy. Okay, so not only do you have a lot of gems, we also have lively and living things as well as adornment. 72. It was due to the Buddha's spiritual power that all such adornments manifested within the Bodhimanda.
佛神力故，令此道场一切庄严于中隐现。
Okay, so they explain why such wonders is due to the Buddha's spiritual powers. Okay. Master Srinivas says is due to, at the causal ground, the Buddha upheld the precepts without the slightest transgression. Okay, that's why now at the fruition time, these are manifested in terms of these wondrous adornments. Okay, so basically, it's a natural thing. It's not so much that the Buddha decided to show those things. It actually, they occur naturally, okay, because of his being. Okay, it comes with him, all these adornments. Being Buddha, have these privileges, if you will. Right? And you see these endless transformation and these wondrous things should tell you that it takes quite a bit of time before you can become a Buddha. The endless transformations. Each adornment, each beautiful thing here is the end result of some pure conduct that he practiced for a long, long time. Yes, number 2.
Thank you, Master. So it wasn't that somebody brought wheels to the Bodhi field, it's that the wheels manifested due to the Buddha's enlightenment.
Yes, I think we're beginning to see here is the wheels, all those precious wheels. Now begin to see it. Can you see it now? What's the clue here? The clue here is those wheels are, you're right, your instincts was correct. All those wheels are adorned, those precious wheels are those endless precious wheels there are the many lifetime he spent turning the Dharma wheel. So for example, Master Shinhua, when he becomes a Buddha, he'll have a wheel called Saha World Wheel, 2119, 99. That's when he died, So there will be dated wheels, because he's there. Like what people they score these things on the trees, M plus J. Okay, same thing. All these wheels are actually the results of his speaking the Dharma, spending his entire life speaking the Dharma. All right, now it makes sense to me. Okay, so these wheels are because every time he speaks the Dharma, it's so beautiful. I don't know about you, but when I listen to Master Shenhua's explanation of the Avatamsaka Sutra, it is so beautiful. It's my favorite. Of all the sutras, his explanation of the sutra here, Flower Adornment Sutra, is the best for me. It's so beautiful. I've never seen anyone do it the way he does. Yes, sir, in the back, 6. Did you have something to say?
Yes, this morning, no, it was yesterday. Yesterday, when they were doing the transference, I was thinking to myself, if Buddha is something real, right? Why?
If, excuse me, if?
I mean, if well, that's what I was thinking. Why do Buddhists?
Sacrilegious.
So why do Buddhists want to practice to go to a Pure Land if they could just practice to become a Buddha in this lifetime?
Well, Buddhas do what Buddhas do. What do I know?
No, but my question is, why not practice now instead of going to the Pure Land just to become a Buddha for now?
Because you don't have enough time to become a Buddha.
Okay.
When you go to the Pure Land, you have plenty of time to become a Buddha. Here, our life expectancy is about, here in the U.S., 80 years old. 80 years? That's hardly, enough for us even to become a millionaire or billionaire. Okay? It's not enough. So, that's why when you go to the Pure Land, your life expectancy is like countless, so that you have plenty of time to perfect your practice. Here, by the time we're done with getting up there to a certain level, we run out of strength. My master, he came here. How long did he have? He lived until the age of 73, 74, and then he died. It's hardly enough to really do much at all. Okay? All right, anything else? So, Master Shua explained what are the foundations of Buddhist morality. Q&A, go ahead.
Master, please forgive me if this question is not respectful. But I have always wondered in the Amitabha Sutra and also here in this sutra, there's a lot of description of like the jewels, 7 jewels, and the gold stand, the ground, gold ground. It seems like it's very sort of tied with a particular like a customer tradition where like jewels are very valued, like in Indian, or I don't know, it just doesn't sound that appealing to me, that particular aspect of it. Like, I wonder if is there something like, is this like the sutra would be like manifested differently for different ages or different world where people maybe like other things, or like, I don't know, even in modern times, maybe gold is not as special as, like in like ancient India. So that's my question.
So you're not impressed by these jewels? Is that what you're trying to say for half an hour?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the only person, but it's very...
You're not unimpressed by gold? Is that for real? I mean, like, if they give you gold, you wouldn't be impressed?
Well, kind of, but it's not like I'm excited for it. It's like I'm jumping up and down for it. It's like, it's okay. It's gold. Yeah, Daniel is high here.
Maybe if they give you like Fort Knox worth of gold, would you be jumping up and down? We're not talking about 1 ingot of gold here. When you look at this on these description of the adornment here, actually it's endless amounts of gold, endless amount of many gems, endless amount of silver. And you're not impressed?
I think gold is great if they can be used to buy other things, but it's like gold by itself is not that interesting. Sorry, this is maybe just really stupid. I don't know. Maybe we can skip this.
Go back to China.
Okay.
Clearly, the Indians have no problem. Any Indian people online at all? I mean, you have any problem with gold? I mean, yes, Catholic.
It's funny because I was thinking like her too.
Go back to Mexico. You guys are weird. Okay, it's not for you. Okay, you're not impressed by the gold or you're impressed with the thing. I'm impressed. Well, first of all, it's not the kind of gold you're thinking of, 24 karat or 18 karat or 14 karat. That's yuck. Okay, the kind of gold here are of a purest quality. I assure you, people, if you see that gold, you'll be impressed. It's not the kind of gold you see at the jewelry store at all. This gold is pure. It is so beautiful. It is so precious. It's so impressive. Trust me. It's not what you think. It's my fault because I failed to describe it to you properly. Okay, this gold here is incredible quality of gold. You will not find it in the human realm. Okay? So it's not what you think. Yes, Kath?
Well, that said, also I think that what they were trying to describe is something that us common people can understand, but I imagine that the imagery that they were seeing is completely different. It's just for us to just have a little bit of piece of understanding.
Let me put it this way. You remember the question earlier about are the Buddha's relics, aren't they indestructible? Yeah, they are. You know, that's what they are. They truly are. But we only get to see the destructible ones. The same thing. What you guys can think of when I talk about gold, you can think of 24 karat gold. No, this gold here is not from this world at all. Okay? It's so exquisite. Okay? The silver, same thing. It's not, the regular silver you buy from that silver shop. How much is it now an ounce? I mean, what that thing here? $25? No, it's a different kind of silver. Let me assure you. Okay, nothing that these gems that they're referring to that adorn this Bodhi Manda place is ordinary at all. It's the exquisite of the highest quality that just the mere sight of it or the mere whiff of the incense. You say, wow, that's fragrance. I'm sorry, this lady here in Go Forest seems to lack in imagination, and it's my fault. Okay, because if we talk about this too much, then it sounds like we're bragging, and the non-Buddhists will say, "Oh my God, these Buddhists are such braggarts." Okay, no, this is the result, the natural result of the purity and the endless practices of purity that the Buddha did endlessly. Okay? So that's why, like for example, we talk about the rules of morality, the 5 precepts, okay, in 74, slide 74 here, non-killing precept here. This non-killing here is Buddha. When he practiced non-killing, he perfected it. And the next time around, he practiced non-killing again. He perfected it and it would brought to a higher level, a higher level. That's why the end result, these gems are so refined, are so of highest or extreme quality, not the way we think. Okay? So that's why it is to the bodhisattvas when look at these things, when they come to this Avatamsaka Sutra lecture and you saw all these adornments, and oh my God, I cannot produce such adornments myself. These bodhisattvas themselves, they said, I want money, money manifests. They have that kind of power themselves. But the money they produce, the will from their spiritual powers is nowhere near the quality of the gold and the gems that the Buddha was manifesting to adorn his way place. Okay? That's why the Bodhisattva said, wow, this is so cool. I never imagined gold could be like this. And mine looks like a piece of steel next to his gold. All right? So, what are the foundations of morality in Buddhism? No killing, okay? And you should avoid killing yourself, and should not think of killing, okay? In contrast, you should have compassion to love and protect all living beings. Okay? And so, see, this is rule here. So that's why he refined it by lifetime after lifetime. He avoided killing this lifetime, went back, and next lifetime when come back to this world, this higher world here, and then he practiced non-killing again, okay, and so forth. Okay? Lifetime after lifetime. All right? And that's why these adornments are wonderfully exquisite. Okay? And also 75, non-stealing precepts, not steal with the body, the mind, okay? But do not have thoughts of stealing. And you strictly practice and cultivate and maintain Vinaya. Okay? Okay? So that's the stealing precept. Okay? No sexual misconduct precept on slide 76. No sex precepts is also thus. Not even let a thought of sexual desire stir your mind. And according to Master YongHua, this is all Master YongHua is teaching. This is Chinese teaching, okay? It's not my fault. Don't call me old-fashioned. And he says, I always chuckle at this. He says, although you may be married this lifetime, you should be husband and wife in name only. That's how pure he is. These Chinese are impossible. Yes, Ahang.
Master, what does it mean by just be husband and wife in name only?
I don't know. Someone help me out, please. What does it mean in name only? Huh? Yes, let's give the sisters, Victorina, a chance to contribute. Husband and wives in name only.
Well, I woke up on this one.
Aha moment.
So it sounds like that you're supposed to just be a husband and wife, like maybe go to the justice of the peace and you go and get a piece of paper and you say you're husband and wife, but you're not really, you're like brother and sister or just friends. That's what it sounds like, right?
I need more details. It's still a little bit vague for me. I mean, in name, what does it mean in name? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So it's like the sitcoms in the 70s where the FCC said husband and wife characters can only sleep in the same room if they're in separate beds on television. So the husband would have one bed, and the wife would have one bed. However, in modern times, husband and wives on television can now sleep in the same bed, no separate beds, which is the long way of saying that in name only would be in separate beds, whereas husband and wives sleep together in the same bed.
You people lack imagination, that's all I can say. Yes, 8.
Master, I'm going to cut through the chase.
Yes, please do.
There's no sexual between the two. No intimacy.
You equate intimacy with sex?
Okay, sexual intimacy.
I don't know what she's talking about. Yes, the disciple, Master YongHua right there, she knows exactly what her teacher is talking about.
Mô Phật, mình ở dưới thế ta bà này đó, thì mình yêu đã, ăn đã đi. Qua bên Tây Phương đó không có tình yêu, không có thương nhau, mà không có muốn yêu cũng không có nữa thầy. Mô Phật.
Master, in this our world, if you could go ahead and love and eat and enjoy, because once you go to the Pure Land, Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, there will be no love. You cannot love anymore.
It's too Chinese for me. Number 4.
From Sauces, share the name, not the bed. From Chris L., a platonic relationship.
Platonic relationship. Anyone else? What is the name here? Go ahead, go Forrest. The boring lady.
I'm not the boring lady, Master. Just have
Okay, the boring man.
yes, I am. Just have a comment on Vicky's comment. I think what she described sounds like immigration fraud.
Oh, you guys are incorrigible. Yes, anyone? Conk. Oh, the Koreans are jumping into the game, yes. Conk is empty. How can you have answers when there's no one there? Oh, behind the table. Okay, fine.
Hello, Master. So there is a expression in Korean. The husband and wife sleep in the same bed, but you only are allowed to hold hand. No further contact. That's what it is.
But the rest of the Koreans agree with that, or is what you do in Korea?
No, that's when you say you only are married in names, nothing more. That's when you go to the bed, you just hold hands. Yeah. So
you get married in order so that you can officially hold hands in bed in Korea?
No. I mean, when you say you are only maintaining the marriage and then it's not the marriage, it's the one the Master YongHua's version with the precept thing. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, the old monk now has his opinion. Please enlighten us.
Con nghĩ rõ ràng cái câu trên đó nói rõ là còn hỏi còn cãi cái gì nữa. Giới dâm cũng lại như thế, càng không khởi ý niệm dâm dục. Đời này tuy kết hôn song chỉ trên danh nghĩa mà thôi. Rõ ràng là còn không hiểu gì nữa. Nghĩa là Hòa Thượng bảo là tuy kết hôn trên danh nghĩa là trên đời phải giết hung thú này nọ, vấn đề làm ăn, vấn đề tài sản này nọ, nhưng mà tuyệt đối không có giết dâm, chỉ danh nghĩa mà thôi. Rõ ràng rồi. Tại vì cái đầu tiên là cũng lại như thế, càng không khởi ý niệm dâm dục. Bây giờ mặc dù kết hôn trên danh nghĩa mà không có khởi ý niệm dâm dục thì còn nắm tay nắm gì nữa. Con nghĩ không ai được như vậy, mà nếu đúng như vậy thì càng tu càng nhanh, mà đâu có đâu.
Master, I think like in this light, it's so clear. Like it cannot be clearer than this. It say that no sexual misconduct precepts mean like no sex precept is also does. Do not even let a thought of sexual desire stir in your mind. Although you may be married this lifetime, you should just be husband and wife in name only. It means that like maybe you just need it on paper because of the business or whatever reason, but you should not have any thought of sexual desire. So it's so clear, and then you don't even need to hold your hand. And then if you can do like that, you can make a lot of progress in your cultivation.
Somebody said, why don't you just be a nun? Why bother getting married? Hey, Catholic, go ahead. Now these Buddhists are crazy.
I was thinking that too. No, but my guess is, how, if you're husband and wife, how are you going to populate the world if you don't have sex? I don't get it.
You mean, how do you make children?
Yes.
Why don't you just go out and say, how can you have babies then?
That's my question, because I don't get it. And then someone said about not loving the Pure Land, then what do I want to go there for?
Because they don't want to make babies anymore. They have enough here. They have enough babies here. You don't need more babies in the Pure Land. Yes, 6.
No, but I mean by love, I mean that how are you going to be able to save other people if you don't have no love? How are you going to be able to serve the people down here, or help the people that run down here, or how are you going to pay your, I forget what you guys call it, what is due to other people? I don't know, or to other living beings. How, if there's no love, then, and I'm not talking about sexual love, I'm just talking about love in general.
Oh, we still at sex. We're not talking about love yet. It is a sexual misconduct precept here. We're not talking about love. No love misconduct precept. We're talking about sexual misconduct precept. It's very precise. That's not digress here. That's not digress. Okay? Yes, 2. Huh? Any more input? Number 4.
Master, didn't Master Xu Yun have 2 wives? And he met this requirement.
Okay. But he's lower level of Master YongHua. If you ask me that way, I will throw it right back in put it right back in your court. He may be so, but his level is not as high as other bodhisattvas.
What was the question?
Why do you have husband and wives in name only? What for? Why? Go ahead, 1. So now he can't answer. He said, hey.
Con muốn nói một cái bằng chứng rõ ràng là con có cái người chị bạn dì ruột đó, rất là kêu chị em với má con, và mẹ là chị em má con. Thì bà lấy một ông này là người Công giáo, là đại sứ thời ông Ngô Đình Diệm, mà đại sứ Việt Nam tại nước Austria là nước Áo. Thì hai người lấy nhau cũng lâu rồi đó, con biết rồi, con lớn rồi. Thì một thời gian sau má con gặp bà chị, bà hỏi sao lâu quá không thấy mày có con. Thì bà mới khóc, bà nói là khi đám cưới ổng chỉ đụng bà một lần thôi. Lời tới bây giờ luôn. Là không có đụng tới bà nữa, tức coi như là ổng sống đời rất là thánh thiện theo đạo Công giáo của ông á. Thì bà chị con bà khóc cho bà mới mới hở miệng với má con là gì ruột, thì bà nói là ông này không có đụng tới bà từ ngày cưới sau đó một lần tới bây giờ luôn, tức là mười mấy năm sau đó. Ông là đại sứ của ông Diệm tại nước Áo đó.
I have a real story. This is related to my aunt, which is like the sister of my mom. And she get married for this Catholic guy. He was the ambassador in Austria. And then after she get married, and after a few years, and then my mom got together and met with her and asked, like, you've been married for so long, why you didn't have any children? And then she was crying, and then she admitted that, you know what, after I get married to my husband, he only touched me once, and since then he never touched me. And then he lived his Catholic way, meaning that for 10 plus years, he never touched her again.
And that's love? See my point? I have a problem with this Chinese style of instructions. I remember this is stuck in my mind because he says you are married in name only, okay? And you guys interpret it, you only touch hands. The Koreans look at it as only you allowed to touch hands, okay? And the Vietnamese say you can't even touch hands. Okay, see, and Mexican says, but we can make babies. We can't touch hands. I mean, you see the problem with this instruction here, huh? It's not part of the Vinaya. Yes, go ahead, Ahung.
Master, in the Amitabha Sutra, Master explained that even a glance is also a sexual desire in the 60 desire heaven. So does it mean that this sexual desire misconduct also apply, that we cannot allow to look at person?
Then you're going to put all the barbers, all the hairdressers, all the nail technicians out of business. See my problems? I mean, we're not in this world where we're in a pure land where you have no sexual desire. It's different. Our world is a world of desire. How are you gonna get married and have a wife and say, I'm only in name? What are you trying to tell the world? You're a weirdo. You're extreme. You understand my problem? It's not real. What kind of Buddhist are you? You're Buddhist, but you're sort of some kind of freak who will not even touch your wife's hands because it's impure. What kind of Buddhist are you? What kind of people are you? I happen to disagree with this instruction. It's not part of the Vinaya. Okay? Buddhism, the Buddhist practice is not like that. And he's describing a state of being here where, yes, it's like Mahakashyapa, like Venerable Xu Mahakashyapa is a better example. Venerable Mahakashyapa got married to his wife, Bhikshuni, purple, golden lotus, whatever. Okay? And they are totally pure since day one. It's people like that. There's nothing wrong with them, okay? They are great role models for us. If you can be like that, I have no problems, okay? Because it's two people. But because that's who they are. But for us Buddhists to teach you, Dharma masters teach you, if you really are a pure Buddhist, you want to be a pure Buddhist, you should be husband and wife in name only. It causes all kinds of problems to people in our era, our age, especially non-Asians. They said, you guys are not real. What kind of Buddhism are you practicing? You know? So I don't think, I have a hard time accepting this, where his point here is that you should, maybe the translation, let me see the Chinese here. 不过夫妻之名而已. Okay, you got married, but actually you only in name only. Fine. Okay, so the translation is correct. My problem is this. It's unreasonable. Okay? His point here is that you should reduce sexual desire even between husbands and wives. That I can buy into it. But to say that you should be husbands and wives in name only, to me, it's phony. It's not realistic. And it causes a lot of misunderstanding. Okay? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. So, regardless of how reasonable it is, if a husband and wife have sex, are they creating offenses?
No, they're not. Absolutely not.
So that's the confusion.
Yes.
That it perpetuates.
Precisely. And like the Catholic says, you know, how are you going to make babies? I say, it's okay to make babies. Okay? It's the precepts for lay people is that you have your normal lives, but you need to control your desires. Okay? And you control your desires by not going outside of marriage. That's how the Buddhists are taught. But not in the sense of in name only. That's not what the Vinaya is about. Yes, 3.
Master, I think this would really be a problem for a husband and wife, especially if, let's say, for example, the wife may be Buddhist and the husband is not.
The husband could be Jewish.
It would really be a very big problem if you were to follow that. And it would really give the idea to people who are not Buddhists that the Buddhists are kind of, very strange and maybe even, dare I say, a cult or something weird.
Yeah. We don't want to have that kind of impression where we are some sort of freaks and put on a facade. Okay? Yes, 4.
There's 3 comments or questions.
Yes.
From Sauces. I don't understand how avoiding sexual misconduct means we should avoid sex. It seems like it makes people miserable. From Jason K. Maybe this precept here is for left home, not lay people in this case. From Chris L. I think Master YongHua is suggesting ways for us to progress in our cultivation by avoiding lust and desires. After all, how can we walk the Bodhi path and still have desires and want to procreate?
Okay, I will answer point number 3 first. Okay? You can procreate and still become enlightened. Yes, you don't need to be a freak to become enlightened. Okay? People historically in our Dharma ending age procreated, have children, have wives, have girlfriends, and they're still enlightened. And boyfriends and so forth, they're still enlightened. That's a fact. Okay? And what are the other 2, the previous 2 questions? Comments?
From Sauces, I don't understand how avoiding sexual misconduct means we should avoid sex. It seems like it makes people miserable.
Well, you don't understand this process. This process here is that you avoid sex outside of marriage. Okay? That's how you practice this way of a lifestyle, where actually, when you think about it, it's very helpful. Okay? And point number 2, you have to do it to really understand what it is.
From Jason K., maybe this precept here is for left home, not lay people in this case.
No, it's for lay people. Lay people, they're different from left home people in the sense that they can have families, they can have children, and so the path is different. The path is that from a Buddhist teachings, you can walk the other path that's different from the left home people's path, and that involves having a family. So left home people renounce families, okay, renounce such relationships. But for lay people, the Buddha says you can still walk this Buddhist path and still become enlightened as well, okay? And in order to do that, one of the greatest things you can do for yourselves, to speed it up, is to avoid sex outside of marriage. That's what this no sexual misconduct precept is about. Okay? Within a marriage, it's okay, but outside it's not. For those of you who wish to do it. Okay? And again, for the Buddhists, it's not a requirement. If you don't feel that you want to do it, you still can become enlightened as well. People have become enlightened without the 5 precepts. Lay people in particular, men, women. Okay? So, I don't know the context of why Master Shenhua brought this up. Okay? But to me, I disagree with this teaching. It's unreasonable. Okay, to me, there's a path where, to me, the Buddhist training is very clear. There's a path where you're a left home person, where you renounce love. Okay, because that's how you get there a lot quicker. On the other side, where you're a lay person, you don't need to renounce love. And that's what makes the world go round. So the Buddhism has to serve both. Okay? And it has been proven that it works for both types of pathways. I don't know where this came from, where you husband in name only. Then, as someone said, you might as well become a nun or a monk or something, or a father or something. Why do you bother calling yourself husbands and wives? You know, like back then in Japan, instead of being put in the Leng Kung, the cold palaces, like a Chinese emperors would put their wives, they're not desirable anymore, in a Leng Kung, away from the world, away from any other men, except eunuchs. Okay? It's kind of cruel. Whereas in the Japanese, basically, they said, and they go to a temple, they build a new wing for the queen, and then the queen lives there. Shave the head, wearing the thing that looks like a sister. Okay? That works too. Okay? Buddhism is very flexible. It's not the way you think. I don't want us to add to these misconceptions about the Buddhist teachings. And to me, this is not helping. Husband and wives in name only, I disagree. Okay? It's not necessary. Okay? You should not have these false notions about this path, because Buddhism is extremely flexible. Okay? Buddhism is able to serve all sorts of people with different needs, okay, different circumstances. It's not like this one size fits all here, where if you really a lay person, you take the non-misconduct precepts and sexual misconduct precept, you can't even touch your wife. Okay, that's not what Buddhism is. Not Buddhism at all. To me, it's wrong. It's a wrong image. Any questions or comments? Yes, Kath.
So I have a quick question then. In that case, in the Catholic Church, before you do have sex, supposedly you have to get married first. And you cannot have any sex other than your wife or husband. You cannot have sex outside marriage. So my question is, do Buddhists get married, or how does that work?
Buddhists don't get married at all. The answer is obvious. We only are married by name only. Would you look at the religions in the world, whether it's Catholicism or Judaism, okay, they have these rules about the sex between husbands and men and women, husbands and wives, and so forth. And some of them are pretty strict. For example, the Jews, and they're very strict. With the husband and wives, there's a certain level of cleanliness, and so forth. And then if you get divorced, there's all kinds of rules and regulations and so forth. They all have a reason for it. That is to minimize the proliferation of sexual desire, okay, by limiting the partners and so forth, what you can do. It's understandable because that's part of the wisdom there, okay. However, it's not in Buddhism. It's not taught to that level of details where in Judaism, I'm baffled with the kind of details they describe these relationships, okay, or Catholicism, where you have these rules and prohibitions that are a lot more details than we are. We are very simple. We just said, minimize the sexual desire outside of marriage, meaning don't do it. Within marriage, it's okay. Okay? And that's what the Buddha taught. And that's enough for you to become enlightened. Yes, number 4.
From Chris L. If we can all become enlightened without holding the 5 precepts, then why do we need to hold the precepts? And why do left-home people not need to be celibate?
Let me think about that one. Because it's true. Meaning that I'm not advocating anything, I'm merely pointing out to you that even if you don't hold the 5 precepts, and many people in the world don't hold the 5 precepts, fact is that they are enlightened. Whereas many monks like myself, like us, who hold the monk precepts, and we're not enlightened. You see? That's part of the Buddhist various forms of spiritual practices. It's not as rigid as you think. Okay? Now, so why? Why do we choose to be a monk? Why do you choose to be a lay person? Because there's different pathways. In particular, if you are, let's say, a monk, then if you hold all the precepts purely, you become enlightened so quickly. So those are shortcuts, if you will. Okay? The monk rules or precepts are actually secrets. Shortcut secrets. Secret shortcuts to enable you to go to the land of enlightenment so much quicker than otherwise. It's true. If you do those things, you keep those monks' precepts and nuns' precepts purely, okay, you become enlightened so quickly. Okay, now let's talk about lay people. Lay people, they have few precepts. They only need to maintain the 5 precepts, okay, and so forth. Okay, primarily the 5 precepts. If lay people maintain the 5 precepts, they would become enlightened a lot quicker than otherwise. Same thing, same principle. Okay, so the precepts are designed to help us get there quicker. That's all. Those are secret shortcuts. And people who don't understand, if they think the Buddha said would like to say prohibit you from holding hands, okay, or sign contracts that are meaningless. You know, I am married to you. I give you a ring. I promise to be faithful to you, but I'm not going to ever touch you ever again. Now I touch your hand to give you a ring, and that's it. You hear? I mean, Buddhism is not like that. Buddhism is that you have these things, these teachings that says, now you're married. If you're interested in becoming enlightened, these are the 5 secret things that will help you get there a lot quicker. If you do it, you find out. You don't do it, tough luck. Nothing wrong with that. No one's forcing you to become enlightened. Same thing, the monks, they have the 250 precepts, but no one's forcing them to become enlightened, okay? They just learn this Dharma here where they're taught these secrets, these shortcuts that the non-monks and nuns are not privy to. That's all. That's Buddhism. No one is forcing anyone. The Buddha doesn't say you must be a monk or must be a lay person, must hold hands or must not hold hands. The Buddha says anything goes. But the reason I teach you the monk precepts and lay people precepts is for a reason. It's quicker, much easier for you. But you don't have to do it that way, you know. It's okay too. But if you become enlightened, let's say you're a lay person, you don't follow any of those things, and you become enlightened, and then you hear about the 5 precepts, and you say, that's why I struggle so much. You see, it works both ways. Okay, it helps you get there quicker, or when you get there, okay, the long route, you look back and say, I could have done that. It would be a lot easier, a lot less grief for me and my family. Yes, 4.
2 more questions. No, 1596. Is this instruction for after married people become Buddhists?
After what?
After married people become Buddhists.
And?
Is this instruction for them?
Not really, because you can take the 5 precepts and never get married. Yes?
From Cordelia, Master, how about us who have BF or GF that has a family? What are our chances since we can only hold 4 precepts rather than 5?
You still can have a chance to become enlightened as well. Okay, it's enlightenment is not the way these Hinayana trained people think. It's not that rigid. Again, these are the faster routes, but they're not the only routes. Yes, 4.
From Chris L. But Master, if we don't hold the 5 precepts, won't we be reborn in the 3 lower realms?
Even if you keep the 5 precepts, you still be reborn in 3 lower realms. What are you talking about? There's no guarantee. You may be pure this entire life, and you still can be reborn in 5 lower realms. Okay, it's not the way you think. And then there's some people who are totally impure, and they're born to the Pure Land. That's Buddhism. It's not the way you think. I'm talking and I'm citing facts. I'm citing specific instances, not the scriptures, quotations. It's not what you think. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're not here to discuss all that. With not enough time for that. But basically, I respectfully disagree with Master Hsuan teaching about husbands and wives in name. It's not for everyone. It's misleading for most of us because I don't know about his objective. My interest is I hope that you become enlightened. The sooner the better. That's all. And this husband and wife in name here, to me, gets in the way of that. Okay? It causes confusion, misunderstanding. It's not Buddhism. It's not Buddhist teaching at all. Probably Chinese Buddhism, but not. I don't subscribe to it. Okay? Tonight I got the brand new thing here with the new strings, you know. Number 4, no lying precepts. Okay, lying precepts is that say what you've seen, what you have seen. Say you have not seen. Say you have not seen. Say you know what you know. Say you don't know what you don't know. Okay, and no, don't produce thoughts of lying. Okay. Lying precepts are fairly simple. In our environment in particular, okay, this is intuitive for you. Our environment is be aware of this, okay. When you ask a question, okay, and you withhold information, that's lying as well. When people ask you a question, and you withhold information, that's lying as well. Okay? That's a level of purity we're talking about. All right? So in particular, I'm warning you against this because many of you are way too smart. That's why I don't ask you questions. I rarely ask you for details. But when I do, and you hold back, you're lying to me. Okay, that's a big boo-boo. Okay, beware of that. Okay, you can simply say, "I'd rather not say." That's not lying. Okay, but if you withhold information, pretend you don't know, and so forth, and that's lying. All right. In particular, what you definitely want to avoid is this big lie here, which is very dangerous for you. Claiming to see ghosts and spirits and gods and goddesses and so forth. Okay, when you actually don't, okay, that's a big lie. It's a very serious offense. cut it out. Okay, it's not worth it. Okay, you'll be sorry. You don't know, so you don't know. You can't see ghosts. You say, I don't see ghosts. There's nothing wrong with that. Let the other people fall to the house. We don't have to. Don't need to impress people. Number 4.
From Chris L. The Buddha said that purely keeping the 5 precepts is guarantee for rebirth into the human realm in the next lifetime.
So? Why do you want to be born in the human realm again? It depends on what your objectives are. My objective is to become enlightened. I don't care where I'm born. I don't worry about where I'm going to be born. Okay? I want to be enlightened this lifetime. If I know I don't become enlightened, I want to be enlightened next lifetime. That's it. Beyond that, it doesn't matter. Okay? Why would you want to be born in a human again? Why don't you be born, to me, sometimes it's better you be born as a poodle into a rich family. And your owner will leave you $20 million when she dies. You'll be very happy. Okay? So, yes, it's true. Those are, I'm being facetious. There are reasons why you want to go back to the human realm and so forth, if that's what you wish. But it's not my objective. That's all. Okay? All these Buddhist teachings are not meant to be one size fits all. It's not for you and it's not for you. Okay? There's so many pathways. 78. No intoxication precepts. Okay? Should not drink any kind of stimulating beverages, not merely alcohol, but should be smoking as well, or intoxicants, or drugs, and so forth. You should not take those things. Okay, this is not a severe offense, but it's called preventative, because once you engage in these intoxicants, then it's easier for you to break the previous 4. Okay, the primary rules of morality in Buddhism are: number 1, no killing; number 2, no stealing; number 3, no sexual misconduct; number 4, no lying. You do those 4, you have to have a pretty virtuous life. Okay? Any questions? Okay, 79. Now, number 4, specific revelation, the adornment of the place. Okay, adornments of the tree. You see, now we zoom in and we look at the details of the adornments, specific adornments of these things you observe. 80. The Bodhi tree was tall, extraordinary, and rare.
其菩提树高显殊特。
Okay, so you go through these things that were described in the sutra itself. So first of all, they describe the Bodhi tree. Okay, so it's an extraordinary Bodhi tree, extremely rare and very tall. Okay, that's what the tree is like. 82. Its roots were made of Vajra, its trunk of beryl, its branches and twigs of an assortment of wondrous jewels.
金刚为身，琉璃为干，众杂妙宝以为枝条。
Okay, so the roots, of the tree are made of Vajra. The trunk is made of beryl or verduria. Okay, branches, twigs, are an assortment of wondrous jewels. Okay, and so that's what this Bodhi tree looks like to the bodhisattvas. 84. Its jewel foliage created a thick arbor, providing shade like a bank of clouds.
宝叶舒服，垂映如云。
85. A jewel foliage, so these thick and luxuriant leaves, okay, have all kinds of gems, okay, in there, and they created this huge shadow, okay, and the shade here that gives you cooling, a cool sense of cooling, as like a bank of clouds, okay. All right. Do we have more? Okay. 86. Multicolored jewel blossoms and their branches sprinkle shadows everywhere.
宝华杂色，分枝不影。
So you have these flowers, okay, are precious flowers here, are different colors, okay, very colorful. And the branches, even the branches are huge and cast shadows, very pleasant shadows, cast pleasant shades, okay, everywhere. Okay, that's what trees. This, when you think about it, this is why we value trees, because they provide shade, okay, and shelter, okay. Especially for the Buddha disciples back then, where they didn't have houses, so they would cultivate under these trees. All right, so time is up. We're going to continue next time at slide 88, and since we are doing this in the midst of the Chanchi, we're going to skip the typical rebirth transference after the lecture, so that you can go back to your Chan practice without any more distractions, and I will take care of the transference myself to save you time. Okay? Thank you all, and we'll see you tomorrow night, where you will have, we learn from Master YongHua's Chan teaching. Okay? All right. Thank you. Good night.